Heroes are supposed to be the good guys, right? They save the day, smile at the camera, and ride off into the sunset. But lately, those squeaky clean characters feel a bit flat. Because the truth is, people don't want perfect anymore. We want flawed, we want complicated, and we want the ones who live in the grey. And that's where the anti-heroes come in. An anti-hero isn't your typical role model. They don't always play nice, and sometimes they're the villain of their own story. But here's the difference. They're real. They don't pretend to be saints. They know their flaws, and they don't run from them. Unlike traditional heroes, anti-heroes aren't frauds. And weirdly, that honestly makes them more relatable. They live in the space between the good and evil, where life actually happens. Because let's be real, life isn't black and white. It's often grey. Take Harvey Specter from Suits as an example. On the surface, Harvey's an arrogant, ruthless, cocky guy. He'll do anything to win, and he's not exactly who you'd cast as Captain America. But underneath the surface, Harvey fights his own insecurities, his loneliness, his past. He doesn't pretend to be some noble savior. He tells you exactly who he is. And because no one in his world often sees that softer side, we as the audience want to root for him. He's not loved because he's perfect. He's loved because he's brutally honest about his imperfections. Then you've got the infamous Deadpool, the ultimate anti-hero. He's violent, reckless, immature, but also kind of funny. Deadpool doesn't hide who he is, even when it's ugly. And that's why people love him. He's not lying to us about being the good guy. He's a disaster who just happens to do the right thing sometimes. And that makes his victories feel earned. Plus, we can also admit he's cooler than 90% of the so-called heroes. This can be seen again from the show Avatar: The Last Airbender and through the character of Zuko. At first, he's a villain, the scarred prince chasing Aang. He's angry, bitter, and doesn't even believe in himself. But over time, over the seasons of the show, you see the cracks, you see the pain, and you see someone who doesn't think he deserves love or redemption. That's exactly why people root for him. Because nobody else in his world sees his potential, but we do. And when he finally redeems himself, it hits harder than any perfect hero's journey ever could. And if you grew up watching wrestling, you know anti-heroes run the show. Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't exactly the moral center of the WWE. The Rock, cocky, arrogant, insulted everyone around him. And somehow, the crowd loved him more than anyone else. Even CM Punk. He built his entire career on being the outsider who spoke truths no one else wanted to hear. These aren't clean-cut heroes. They are rebels, rule breakers, villains to some, but legends to those watching. Because we saw what others didn't. We saw the fight, the grit, and most importantly, the honesty. Here's the secret. Anti-heroes win our hearts because they don't believe in themselves. The world doesn't believe in them either. So when we watch, we feel like we're the only ones cheering them on. That's powerful. That's why we keep supporting them. Because in rooting for them, we're rooting for ourselves. So yeah, heroes might get the spotlight, but anti-heroes steal the show. Tell me in the comments, what's your favourite anti-hero? Zuko, Deadpool, maybe even Stone Cold. I want to see the debate. And if you want more of these breakdowns, hit subscribe. This is Light Mode, where we explore the light, the dark, and everything in between.